Well, this is Pratishtha, your IELTS trainer, and in this lesson, I'm going to majorly speak about speaking, right? The speaking in IELTS and what we can do to enhance our speaking. We'll also look at some of the most common questions that usually come when we go for exam in part one and part two, especially. So, with that being said, I will go ahead and share my screen. Um, so we will start with this one. We'll take a look at majorly at the part one of speaking in this, right? So part one majorly consists of your, let's say, your introduction and personal questions that the examiner will ask, right? So let me, all right. So in this session, we'll focus on strategies for answering part one kind of questions, right? And sorry, we'll practice the part one question types just so that we can develop more fluency. We'll learn how to structure a response, right? So we'll take a look at some of the I would say some of the questions, right, and how we can develop a response based on that. Then we'll learn how to, okay, then we'll work on improving confidence and natural speaking flow. That is something that already comes with, practicing more. So what to expect in part one? Part one is the interview and the introduction section. You will be asked questions on your basic topics like, let's say, hobbies, work, family, daily routines, etc. Right? The examiner will ask about 45 questions to you, and your answer should be brief, but it should be detailed. Now, how to answer part one questions effectively, right? So you need to give full answers. Do not give one word replies, right? As that is not considered good, even if they have not asked you why. Always explain your answers. I would also suggest you to use natural language, right? Speak as you would in a regular conversation. Don't try to be formal or don't try to sound rehearsed, right? So I would suggest don't try to cram on stuff because that will really hamper your fluency levels. Do not overthink. Again, speak what comes to your mind. They will not judge you based on what is the content of your answer. They will just look at how fluently you are speaking it. Stay on topic. Make sure that you answer. Make sure that your answer is directly related to the question. So again, make sure that you're not dwindling away from the answer and you're staying on what is being asked. Some of the topics that you might get in part one is your personal background, right? So, of course, they will ask you questions about your hometown, family, work, studies, etc. Right? Then you can also be asked about your hobbies and interest. So there will be questions about how you spend your free time, your favorite activities, recent experiences, etc. Questions about your daily schedule, morning routines, or typical day. So they can ask you about, explain what is your morning schedule like? What is your daily schedule like? How is a typical day in your life? And then definitely about preferences. For example, do you like fast food? If they ask you something like this, do you like fast food? Don't just stick to, yes, I do. Explain, yes, I like fast food. I really like pizza, but I make sure that I don't eat it on a regular basis as it's pretty unhealthy. But I also know that it is something that really satisfy my cravings. So I eat it once every 2 weeks or so. So we have a little bit more, I would say, topics. So all the topics related to work. First, what is your job or where do you work? Right. So this can be the related questions. What is your job? I work as an engineer in a technological company in Bangalore, and I really like technical. Like I really like the IT. information technology is something that I have always wanted to do since a long time. Where do you work? I work in an IT field in Bangalore or any other city that you want to say. I chose that place because that is the IT hub of India. Why did you choose that job? I chose that job because I was always interested in computer science. In school as well, I chose computer science, and that is something that I'm really passionate about. Is it a popular job in your country? Yes, IT is a pretty popular job in my country because India right now is focusing on how we can be better technology wise. And I think IT is one of the booming sectors. Do you like your job? My job comes with some challenges, definitely, but there are always downsides and positives to it. I would say that overall, I really like my job as I love what I do, and that's my passion. Right, so I'm just speaking the question and I'm just responding. Do you get on well with your colleagues? Yes, I do get on well with my colleagues. There are definitely times when we do not agree on each other's opinions, but most of the times we do get really well, and we also hang out after office hours. What was your first day like? So if I remember clearly, my first day was pretty interesting. I was a little nervous, but also excited at the same time. However, I feel my company really made me feel welcomed. All my colleagues were there to welcome me, and it really helped me reinforce that confidence. What responsibilities do you have at work? Besides my general responsibilities of working in the hardware part of the IT, I make sure that all the hardware system is working properly. And I also work sometimes on how we can make it more efficient. Um, that is one of the things. Besides that, my responsibilities also include catering to other aspects and areas and departments of the company where my help is required. Now, to be honest, I have zero IT background, and I'm just speaking stuff. So, I mean, I'm just trying to say that if I can do it, you can do it as well, because I have zero IT knowledge, right? And I'm still speaking on my job, which is in IT. I have never done an IT job, never been in an IT company, nothing of that sort. So, anyways, if you had the chance, would you change your job? I would not really say that I would change my job, but I would definitely want to explore areas and jobs which would upskill me as well. I really like a challenge, and if there is a job which can really challenge me through and through, I would consider changing my job. Do you plan to continue with your job in future? Yes, as of now, I do plan to continue with my job in the future. I was also inclined towards a business mindset, but for time being, I think I would really like to stick to my job as it gives me a sense of commitment and a sense of discipline. Then, where is your hometown? Do you like your hometown? Do you visit your hometown? Yeah, you can say a lot of things. So, in general, if we read all the questions, a general response, which will almost cover all of these answers, would be: what is the oldest place in your hometown? Where what is there for a foreigner to do or see in your hometown? How could your hometown be improved? How has your hometown changed since you were a child? Is there a good public transport? Do you think your hometown is a good place? Okay. So my hometown is in Chandigarh. Now I'm speaking real. So my hometown is in Chandigarh, and I really like my hometown because it is extremely close to me. This is where I was born. This is where I have all my family members, all my friends living. I did my complete schooling from Chandigarh, and I think it's very close as I have created a lot of memories. I often visit my hometown because I even does not matter where I am, which part of the city or the country or wherever I am. I really like to stay connected and come back because that is the place which feels like home, like where I have spent literally more than 20 years of my life. So I really like to visit my hometown and meet all my old friends. My hometown is a small town. I would not say that it is a very big city like Bangalore or Delhi or Mumbai. It is a rather small town where people from all over the places have come, especially the north. So my hometown is in north of India, and it is pretty. It has something for everything, everyone. So it has great universities for students. The IT companies are developing there for adults. And then for old people, there are beautiful parks and lakes. And it's a great city for everyone, I would say. What is there for okay, so for even for foreigners, there are a lot of places to see, all right, as there are huge parks, there are beautiful gardens. Chandigarh is something that comes in between when you are going to any hill station. So I would say that is a great spot just to spend one day in that small city and experience nature, experience lakes, experience the combination of modern and old together. If I have to change something in my hometown, I think I would change the traffic system, because the traffic has been increasing every day. Everyone is getting a car, and nowadays at least two cars are super common in any household. So I would suggest that I would like to keep that to a low. I would really want the government to impose some kind of fee or fine on, and there should be a limit on how many cars you can actually keep. My hometown has changed dramatically ever since I was a child. There were no malls. When I was a child, there was just one mall, and now there are almost 10 to 15 malls in my city itself. Um, Also, the kind of restaurants and cafe have increased a lot, and the level of those restaurants have increased too. So I feel that it is overall a good development. My city has a great transportation system. It has local buses, rickshaws, autos, um, dedicated pathways for cyclists as well. So there are a lot of great things. The bus system is extremely nice. We do have a railway station as well. We do not have metro because it's a fairly small city, but even if we can get by really well on just using the bus. Do you think your hometown is good? Okay, so I think that my hometown is really good to bring up children because it's a great combination of being modern as well as cultivating all the values. It's also super safe for, I would say, for children. It has good education system, good healthcare system as well, which is necessary if you have children at home. And as compared to bigger cities like Delhi, where there's always a fear of crime, Chandigarh is statistically still at a lesser pace than that. It's like crime does not happen as often as it happens in a bigger city, and it's more secure. So this is how you can make something on your hometown. For your home also, you have, where is your home? Do you live in a house or a flat? So you can say that my home is in the middle of the city, or it's on the outskirts. You can then talk about if it is a house or a flat. You can talk about that flat is basically an apartment. Who do you live with? You can talk about your family members, right? Since how long have you been living with them? You can talk about the rooms. You can give details about these rooms. What is your favorite room? Probably your bedroom. So you can talk about your bedroom because it has been personalized, you have decorated by yourself, etc. How are the walls decorated? You can just give a general description that you have it has a cream paint because you feel it is related to calm and composed nature. It has some paintings hanging on the other. There are portions where other things are also there, right? What would you change about your home? So you can say, as such, I would not change anything, but if I have to change something, I think that would be just the continuous development. I would really like to have a little bit of bigger rooms so that I can accommodate my entire family and there can be more chances of get-togethers. So something like that, very basic. Do you plan to live there in the future? As of now, I would really like to live there in the future as well. I have not decided of moving out. I really love my home and I have decorated it by myself, something like that. What is your neighborhood like? My neighborhood, sorry, what facilities are there? So you can talk about all the facilities like markets, hospitals, gyms, everything like spas, hair salons. There's a mall. You can say basically anything. Transportation, there's a bus stop. What is your neighborhood like? So my neighborhood, you can say that it's very friendly. People are extremely friendly. Everyone knows each other. They always have community events, so on and so forth. Do most people live in the houses in your country? It basically means that they live in house or do they live in flats, right? So you can talk about that if it is a house or a flat. So you can say, depending on, like, initially they lived in houses, but eventually many of the big projects and big builders have started making apartments. So you can say, and it also helps to, save land, something like that. Study, what do you study? Where do you study that? You can talk about your field of study in detail. Where have you studied it? You can talk about that, and why did you choose that particular institute? Why did you choose that subject? You can talk about your interest and passion in that subject. Is it a popular subject? You can say that. I would suggest say yes, it is pretty popular in my country, and I really like to. I would really like to build more skills on that. Do you like that subject? You can say yes, of course. How do you get on with your colleagues or maybe college mates or schoolmates? You can just say that you get on pretty well, you help each other out, etc. Again, your first day can be very similar to the first day at work. You can just have a little bit of modifications. What are the main aspects of your subject? So main aspects could be, for example, I studied English, right? So I studied literature. You can say the main aspects are literature and poetry. We learned about literature from all over the world. So it was world literature, really. We were decoding and deciphering different authors and different time periods. We did everything from old literature to modern literature. And I really enjoyed going through all of these phases. If you had the chance, would you change the subject? So you can say yes or no, depending on you. Do you plan to get a job in the same field as your subject? So you can say that yes, eventually I want to be a teacher. I want to be able to teach languages. So I really want to go ahead with choosing this job or field. Similarly, there can be things about art. Are you good at art? Do you like Did you learn art at school when you were a child? What kind of art do you like? Is art popular in your country? Have you been to any art gallery? Do you think children can benefit from going to art galleries? Daily routine questions can be like, when do you usually get up in the morning? Do you usually have the same routine every day? What is your daily routine? Do you ever change your routine? Is your routine the same today as it was when you were a child? Do you think it is important to have a daily routine? Birthdays. Do you enjoy your birthdays? Do you usually celebrate your birthday? What did you do on your last birthday? Can you remember a birthday you enjoyed as a child? Do most people celebrate their birthdays with a party in your country? Which birthdays are considered important in your country? So birthdays basically means birthdays of probably important people, right? So you can say like Mahatma Gandhi or things like that. Then you have dictionary. Do you often use a dictionary? What do you use dictionaries for? What kind of dictionaries do you think are most useful? Um, do you think dictionaries are useful for learning a language? What kind of information can you find in dictionary? Right. And then you have clothes. Are clothes important to you? What kind of clothes do you usually wear? Do you so when it says are clothes important to you, it basically means that um, do you think dressing up is important? You can take it in that sense because, of course, clothes are important to everyone, right? What would we do without clothes? We cannot protect ourselves. So you can say that yes, clothes are extremely important for me because it allows me to express myself in a different manner, which can be different from others as well, etc. Do you ever wear the traditional clothes of your country? So you can talk about that. Where do you usually buy your clothes? Have you ever worn a uniform? Do most people in your country follow fashion? Evenings. What do you often do in the evenings? Do you do the same thing every evening? Do you prefer to spend your evenings with family or friends? Do you ever work or study in the evening? What is popular activity for young people in your country in the evening? Do you do the same thing in the evenings as you did when you were a child? Then you can have questions about family and friends. Do you spend much time with your family? Who are the closest to you in your family? Do you prefer spending time with your family or friends? Who is your best friend? Right? Then you have Are you still friends with the people from your childhood? Is family important in your country? Then you can talk about food. What is your favorite food? Um, have you always have the same kind of food? Is there any food that you dislike? All right, so you can talk about that. What is a common meal? Right, so you can talk about that again. Do you have a healthy diet? You can say, yes, I have a healthy diet. How often do you go online? What do you use internet for? How do you get online? Do you have your own computer? What's your favorite website? Do you think children should be allowed unsupervised access to the internet? So, totally depends on what you are trying to look at. Then you have leisure activities, right? So, for leisure activities, you can say, what is your favorite leisure activity? What did you enjoy doing in your free time as child? Do you prefer spend your free time with other people or alone? What is a common leisure activity in your country? Do most people in your country get 2 days off a week? Do you think leisure time is important? As for hobbies and music, do you have a hobby? What equipment do you need for it? Equipment can be any kind of equipment, right? Do you think hobbies should be shared with other people? Did you have a hobby as a child? What hobbies are popular in your country? Why do you think people have hobbies? Music, do you like music? What's your favorite type? Can you sing? Did you learn music at school? If you could learn a musical instrument, what it would be? And do you think music is important? Similarly, you have neighbors. Do you like your neighbors? Are neighbors usually close to each other? What is your neighborhood like? Do you think your neighborhood is a good place for children? How could your neighborhood be improved? Do you think it is important to have a good relationship with your neighbors? Are you a patient person? Do you ever get impatient? What was the last time you lost your patience? Which person in your family is the most patient? How do you usually get your news? Do you often read newspaper? What kind of news you follow? How do most people get news in your country? Do you think international news is important? About pets, do you have a pet? Do you like animals? Who's your favorite animal? What is the most popular pet in your country? Did you have pet as a child? Why do people have pets? For noise, do you live in a noisy area? What kind of sounds do you hear on a daily basis? This one is a little tougher question to answer, I would say, but then you'll have to cook something up. Where do you go to spend time in peace and quiet? Are there any sounds which you think are pleasant? Do you have any noisy friends? Reading, do you often read? What's your favorite kind of book? Do you often read newspaper? Do you have an ebook? Reading as a child, do you think it is important to encourage children to read? Shopping, do you like shopping? What's your favorite shop? Do you prefer shopping alone or with others? What kind of shops are there where you live? Did you have you ever bought anything online? Do you think men and women have different opinions about shopping? How did you get here today? What's your favorite mode of transport? Do you ever use public transport? Do you like transport system in your country? What's the difference between taking a bus and taking a train? Do you like sports? What's your favorite sport? Do you often watch sport on TV? Played sport as child? Most popular sport in your country? Playing sport to keep yourself fit. Do you often watch TV? What sort of things do you watch on TV? What's your favorite TV program? Do you ever watch foreign programs or films? What did you watch on TV when you were a child? Do you think children should watch TV? And weather should be, what's the weather like today? What's your favorite weather? Do you like your weather? Do you like the weather in your country? Is the weather the same in all parts of country? Does the weather ever affect the way you feel? Does the weather in your country ever affect transportation? Right? So these are all the questions. Hopefully, no more, but these are the overall questions that you can usually get. Right? This is the max. Everything else should be, I think, based on all of this. Now, how to improve fluency in part one. So again, practice speaking regularly. Take a screenshot of all these questions and practice making answers and use it. Use linking words. Avoid long pauses, right? So do not make long pauses. You can have little pauses. You can like pause for a little while for like 1 or 2 seconds, but not beyond that. Stay relaxed, right? Do not cram, do not stress out. Stay relaxed. If you have made a mistake, just say sorry, move on, and then, speak again. Some common mistakes is giving one-word answers, over preparing or cramming, speaking too fast, right? So don't speak too fast and going off topic. Again, if I have to review, we reviewed some strategies and tips for part one. We also practiced some common questions on top. Part one, you can take a screenshot and try to practice it. We discussed some mistakes, right, that can happen. We worked on improving our fluency. Homework could be that you need to record yourself by asking all these questions to yourself and responding to it. I would suggest, if you don't have a partner who can give you a genuine response, just do it by yourself, right? Record yourself and then practice. With that being said, that is pretty much it for what you can do for speaking, right? Speaking is super important. Now that you have a list of questions, list of possible questions, it would be even more important for you to practice. And I wish you all the best. I know there are a lot of questions, but if you prepare all of them, you are good to go for your speaking part one. So I'll see you in the next class.